The solutions actually are quite simple and they're quite easy. There's a number of things we can do, but I think I explained originally on dealing with the pricing, we should just go to actual pricing. None of this paying the highest bid, none of this paying what I think the price would be. Right away, by going to actual pricing, your prices go down immediately. They go down immediately. So lots of other changes we can make. I like to share this story. There was a doctor in the 1780s, 1790s. His name was Dr. Benjamin Rush, famous for one great thing. He invented a laxative. It was called Rush's Thunderbolt. No matter what ailed you, whether it was a swollen knee, indigestion, a headache, what did you get? You got Rush's Thunderbolt. Must have worked because it was famous at the time, so you probably sat in the outhouse not thinking about what the problem was earlier. Our ASO is the Dr. Benjamin Rush of electricity. Our ASO is not allowed to use non-wire solutions to fix the system, to correct the system, or to expand the system. Our ASO is only allowed to do one thing and one thing only, build transmission lines. It's absolutely amazing. With all the available technology that's available to us today, our ASO is not allowed to use that. They're only allowed to correct the system by building more transmission lines. We want to allow our ASO, or require our ASO, to use the most economical technology and apply that. That will drive down the cost. The other thing we have to do at our ASO is trying to build a system for zero congestion. I want to explain that to you. Zero congestion is a fallacy and it's a fantasy. I'm going to compare it to a road system because a road system is a grid too. Our road system here is a grid. If we were to build a road system for zero congestion, it would mean we'd never have a stoplight or a stop sign. Every intersection would be an overpass or an underpass. Every road would be wide enough so you could drive the speed limit and never have a traffic jam in front of you. We're going to try to build a zero congestion electricity system, and it's impossible. Put another generator on after we spend $16.6 billion, we might have to spend another $2 billion to get back to zero congestion. It's like a dog chasing its tail. We'll never get ahead, and it's not even economical. All your electricity systems should be built on a curve system where the cost of congestion is always measured against the cost of relieving congestion. When the cost of relieving congestion is above the actual congestion, you live with the congestion. Only when the congestion rises above that cost of removing it do you remove it. It's called a break-even point, and it's the optimal point. We're going to try to build a congestion-free system so that a generator up in Fort McMurray can export its entire capacity to the United States. And a generator in Edmonton could export its entire capacity to the United States. But theoretically, that doesn't even make sense, never mind practically. What's going to happen to the lights here if we allow every generator to export their entire capacity to the United States? Well, we won't have any electricity for our own use. This whole idea of zero congestion just doesn't make sense. They want to make a market system and they're saying we can't have congestion. That's false. You have minimal congestion. We always have congestion. By the way, you have that lightning storm, that ice storm, that tornado, you have congestion if it takes down transmission lines. And I don't care how many transmission lines you build. The more transmission lines you build, the more likely it is to get hit by lightning. They attract it. If a generator doesn't want to build, or a company does not want to build a generator, then we should build a generator if it's the most economical thing to do. Oh, by the way, generators relieve congestion. If you have congestion between Edmonton and Calgary, and it's going to cost you a couple of $2 billion to build a transmission line, it might be cheaper to build a generator for $260 million. I'll just give you an example, because they said they needed more power up in the Heartland. Well, EPCOR already proved for $263 million you could build a 243 megawatt generator. And they located one up in Clover Bar. They built it on time, under budget. Pretty efficient. Had they built that for the Heartland's current demand is just over 550 megawatts. Its current capacity is 100 megawatts above that. That's more than ample. And had we built a generator for $263 million, We would have increased the capacity up in the Heartland by 43% rather than build a $580 million transmission line. This is basic economics. But they don't want more electricity up in the Heartland. That's not the goal. The goal is to get the electricity from the north to the United States. And I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all, if you and I get something for it. But if we're not getting anything for this, what's the point? Where's our take on this? Where's our gain? We're paying for it. What we need to do, and what is best for us, is quite simple. We have the ability to build a distributive generation model. Distributive generation system. Most jurisdictions would die for what we have here. The assets, I mean, you can imagine, we're an energy province. Most jurisdictions cannot even think of building a distributive generation system. What does that mean? Distributive generation is when you locate the generation all around, distribute that, create nodes that are independent and self-sufficient, so if one node fails, the other nodes backfeed, your system is more reliable, it's more efficient, and it drives costs down. What does it take to build that distributive generation model? The infrastructure called gas. Along with our coal and along with our hydro, we got a system here that could be unmatched in the world. And we're not thinking in terms of that vision. Build transmission lines, I'm all for it. Probably the best thing to do is build transmission lines east-west, not north-south. For the stability to attach into Manitoba, to BC, now you're talking some significant reliability and real cheap hydro. You want to diversify this economy? Then we take a vision as an energy province, not just an oil and gas province. We drive down electricity, we'll do one thing, and one thing that is significant. What does business really want? Reliable, trained workforce. We have a good workforce here. Low taxes. We actually have low taxes. Reliable, efficient, and cheap electricity that's consistent. Not electricity that's spiking up and down. That's the worst thing for businesses. If we get that electricity cost down to where it attracts businesses, we will attract those businesses that support our oil sands, and we will attract other businesses to export. We have the ability to attract that manufacturing. We're just not taking steps to actually be that energy province. It's about a vision. And our government right now does not have that vision. What we can do here is make a change this upcoming election. And this is significant because it affects our economy. And the message has to get out that this electricity affects everybody. Not just you as residents, but your local businesses. And these big businesses that employ a lot of us. This has a huge effect, and if we allow this to continue, we will be doing ourselves a tremendous disservice. We have an opportunity coming up on this next election to hold not just this government accountable, but to elect a whole new government. Thank you very much, and I'll take any questions.